Hi, if you're new here, we're currently working on a new game called The Life of Mr. Pips, which I wonder what that could be about. We are Snuti, a husband and wife awesome team, isn't that right? Yeah. And my name is Claire.
I'm Christer. And on this channel we talk about game development. We're gonna take you along the journey. We're learning loads and we want to share this journey with you guys.
Even though we're not that good. Sorry.
That's happening along the journey.
So what have we done the last few weeks? Well, not that much.
We've done holiday.
We've done holiday. We've done holidaying and relaxing, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, but now we're back to game dev.
But now we're back to game dev, yeah, and we're actually starting to make a little bit more progress, which is nice.
Yes, it's been nice getting back into the groove of it and getting some momentum in the work.
This last week, we've been making a lot of progress, and we can finally introduce our new little game, The Life of Mr. Pips, to the world. Or unless if you've already seen us on Twitch, you already know about it.
Yeah, lucky Twitch viewers have been seeing us progress on this game a little while now.
Yep.
But yeah, today's a little update on how that's going.
Yeah. The Life of Mr. Pips is a small little game where we want to learn quite a lot of different things, from making our own character from scratch, which will include the rigging, the weight painting, the UVing, texturing,
and animating.
And the animating, and also putting that all into Unity.
And making it work and move.
Making it work and move.
Yeah.
We also want to learn a lot more about how to make a story using the UI, making cutscenes, and creating some fun little quirky characters, such as a mushroom and some rafting blueberries, you know, just a spoiler. And also creating an interactive world is one of the things that we've always really wanted to do, so it'll be really, really fun to start making all the assets from scratch in Blender and making something nice and uniform.
That you can go around and talk with people and...
Yeah, and go rafting, you know? It's a common thing.
Explore the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mr. Pips is a game that we aim to make within 1 to 2 months, hopefully.
Yeah, so that's a bit of an ambitious goal, but at the moment we want to make games relatively quickly, so we get into the habit of completing them and seeing what it takes to do every aspect of the game, because often you can get very caught up in a certain part of the game and forget how much it is to make the rest, and you end up with this gigantic project that is very hard to finish, and we're trying to learn the whole process and repeat it a lot of times, and I think that's how we gain the best experience right now.
Yep. And so far we've actually managed to make Mr. Pips and rig him and animate him and make him move. So that's quite
making progress.
Good already,
yeah. The story for the game is that you are a little strawberry who's fallen from the bush a little bit early, and you are then left alone in the world to explore and discover, and you're in the end going to try to find your place in the world. You're going to meet a few characters, and you're going to find how you're going to go through the different seasons of the year. So you're starting off in spring season, you go through summer, you're going to have an autumn part, and obviously that's going to be a bit more gloomy, and then we're going to go into winter, and then you need to settle down and survive, and that's how it's going to wrap up the story. That's going to be really interesting, I think.
Yep, and you're going to meet some interesting and enlightening characters along the way, like rafting blueberries and mushrooms.
Wise mushrooms.
Wise mushrooms.
Yes.
You know, that's a first.
Yeah.
Our progress so far, as we mentioned earlier, was that we have managed to design and rig our sweet little Mr. Pips. I mean, he's a strawberry, so of course he's sweet.
And such a cute little face. Now we just need to animate that little face. It would be like blink, blink, and make different expressions. That'll be fun exploring to make that as well.
We'll make him kawaii.
Yes.
So Mr. Pips, first of all, started off as a sketch, which wasn't a particularly good sketch, but at least it gave you the general idea of what he was going to look like.
And it was really good to work from that when we started modeling. Gave us a really good idea of what we were trying to make and what type of expressions would work on him, etc.
Yeah, and also setting it, you know, side by side in Blender and being able to trace a little bit more from it was kind of very nice to have and handy.
Yeah, that's absolutely the best way to work.
We took him into Blender and started obviously modeling him. We wanted to kind of go for a low poly look, but unfortunately he is a little bit more high poly than we expected him to be. But he looks cute.
Yeah, it was really hard because we wanted him to be round and bubbly, and round does not mean low poly. So we ended up like at 20,000, but we managed to cut it down to like 8,000 polygons on him.
Yeah.
So, but it's not exactly a low poly character, but we want to go for a low poly look. So yeah, we're a bit conflicted on that ourselves still, but we're working through it.
In all of our other games, we have actually used pre-rigged characters, such as in Mission Squeak, our little chihuahua was pre-rigged, and also the little bunny from Carrots from Heaven. This time around, our big goal was to rig a character completely from scratch. And we've managed to make that quite nicely and made a nice rig for Mr. Pips.
It's missing a couple animations and everything,
Yeah.
but it's actually working out quite well, and that's why we're going for such a simplistic character who doesn't have that many limbs, etc. To make that part ease ourselves into it.
He's got cute round limbs, he's poking out.
Yeah, and I guess that's why the game ended up being about berries and fruit and stuff instead of like humans and animals.
So as Krista mentioned, like we have made a few animations, but we're still missing things like the jump, and also his facial expression doesn't really move or do anything. He just looks blank and plain.
But he looks so cute when he's just like staring at you.
Yeah, but he's just looking like this right now. Like,
I love him.
we also tried to experiment with making a cartoony look for him using a bit more of like a toon shader.
Yeah, so we were exploring, like, as he was high poly and we wanted a low poly look, what if we, instead of shaded him like normally, you do a toon shader, which makes all surfaces flat. And with the toon shader look, you have some challenges because lights don't work in the way that lights usually do. So if you want localized lights and shadows and stuff, they get very complex, especially if you're using Unity's shader graph to work with this. The latest Zelda game has amazing toon shader. It just looks so good.
Amazing, yeah.
But I think that's a bit too ambitious for us with this, so we kind of scrapped the toon shader look and went back to the bit more basic common shaders. Even though it was kind of cool to see the hard lines and how the shadows cast across him. And it was really interesting to explore like how far you can take that. This is the first game where we're actually using Unity's terrain tool. It's been really strange to work with. I thought I knew how to operate these things, but it's not been our best friend. But I think we're making some progress with it. It's very rough what we've been laying out. We just like planned like this area is for that, this area is for that, and then we're gonna go and polish it all up and make it look nice. But I've been making a bit more friends with like the set height tool and I think it's called a slope tool, which has been which has been making some nice paths and stuff. But yeah, I find it quite challenging to operate the Unity terrain tool. So any tips would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, would really be appreciated. And also we used a texture which apparently has some kind of glittery stuff in it, which has been really, really irritating me.
Yeah, well, that's just a placeholder, that texture.
I know, but we still haven't got around to removing it, so...
Yeah, we need to get rid of that glitter. It's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be like solid color, hard edges. You know, that's the style we're going for, not like glitter.
Yeah. But if you guys have any tips about better information about using the terrain tool, feel free to link it because that'd be so helpful for us.
Yeah, need to learn a bit there.
We also got around to also modeling a few of the basic assets for the game, like our strawberry bush, which looks really, really cute. And we also designed a little extra low poly strawberry on it, but it looks a lot different to Mr. Pips.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be Mr. Pips' brother, or sibling, I guess.
Sibling, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can put it that way. But yeah, he doesn't quite look alike. But we were exploring like what would an actually low poly strawberry be like?
Yeah.
And what if we made Mr. Pips a bit more like this? But I'm not sure if the cuteness is as high as on Mr. Pips.
Yeah, I kind of like the round look, you know?
Yeah.
The round look gives him that cute aspect.
Maybe that's why he's special.
That's why he's special.
Yeah, could be.
Maybe he's a special little Pip.
Maybe that's why he's having a hard time finding his place in the world.
Yeah, he is.
It's all just add-ins to the narrative.
Yes, he's rounder than every other asset in game.
And that's why he tumbles.
That's why he tumbles. Making this video, we have decided what the narrative will be.
Tumbling Mr. Pips.
Tumbling Mr. Pips.
Maybe that's what we need to name it along as well.
Yeah.
Kind of like the life of Mr. Pips though.
Life of Mr. Pips is way better.
Yeah.
Unless anybody else has some better suggestions.
Yeah, shoot.
So thank you so much for watching and being a part of our journey. It's been a lot of fun for us and we are making a lot of mistakes, but we're really, really enjoying it and so happy that you can be a part of this journey with us.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching and have a good time and see you on the next one.
And have an amazing day.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.